Yo, man, welcome to Knowing True Ball with your host, Brian Payne. Hey, you guys, I'm so excited for this week, but also I'm just a football nerd. Y'all know how I gets down. Hey, man, this is our week 2 preview episode. We're going to go over the games that I think are must-see TV, and also we're going to get our little bet segment in. But the first thing that we're going to do is go over the Thursday night football game. And obviously, after we go over the game, I'm going to give y'all my opinion on Tua Tagovailoa. So, going to the Thursday night football game, man, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. And the Buffalo Bills demolished the Dolphins 31-10. I picked the Miami Dolphins to win this game because of the heat. I did not think about the fact that this was going to be a night game. But even still with the humidity, you know, the Miami Dolphins practicing in Florida, living in Florida, things of that nature, they are used to that humidity. They are used to that. They are conditioned in that sort of weather, and the Buffalo Bills are not. And the last time we saw them in an environment like that, Buffalo, like early in the schedule, they flopped miserably because they were exhausted, they were tired. So that's why I kind of thought was going to take place in this game, but obviously it did not. Bro, in this football game, we saw the Buffalo Bills run game take control of the game. Honestly, they just controlled both lines of scrimmage. I mean, the Dolphins did have some good running take place, but those good runs they had typically came off of outside runs. You know, the Mike McDaniel type of outside runs where it's more like a screen, halfback screen to get them get a chain on the perimeter with a bunch of lead blocks. I'm not talking about that kind of line of scrimmage. I'm talking about just 6 inches in front of your face, let's get to it. And that right there, the Dolphins are struggling at run blocking. But before we talk about the Dolphins, let's talk about the winning team. The Buffalo Bills, man, they are starting off 2-0 in this season. I did not anticipate them starting off 2-0. I anticipate them starting off 1-1. I am not changing my prediction on them before the season at finishing with a record around 9-8. I'll give them 10-7, but I see that taking place. I still do not believe that they will win the division. Granted, they will have a better shot with the injury to Tua. Now, back to this game. The Buffalo Bills are showcasing that they can run the football. And what I loved the most in this game was that when they got to the 1-yard line, they did not run Josh Allen. Granted, I think it's because of the fact that Josh Allen's left hand is still banged up, and they didn't really want him possessing the ball in that type of way. Because those type of ways is how he wouldn't mess around and fumble in those highly congested situations. So instead, they gave the ball to James Cook. But I love that the offensive line, specifically the center and left guard, showed that they could create a hole and get James Cook into the end zone rather easily. Hopefully they utilize that more. That will keep Josh Allen healthier as the season goes on. Part of the reason why I got their record finishing where I have them is because as the year goes forward, Josh Allen takes so many hits that eventually that first 8 game Josh Allen is not the same in the last 9 games Josh Allen's. Those of you that play fantasy football, y'all definitely know you are terrified of Josh Allen to start off the year. But by the middle, end of the season, he turns into like a normal quarterback. And it's because he gets banged up, bro. He's out there trying to play like a Cam Newton style, and you can't do that running. So with that being the case, man, we are realizing that Khalil Shakur is becoming his go-to guy. When he needs a first down, when he needs a play, he is looking for him. I'm not quite calling him his wide receiver 1, but he has become the Wes Welker of that offense. I would like to see Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox make more of an impact in the passing game, but in this game, we didn't have to see it. They didn't have to utilize that. They went into cruise control the same way the Dallas Cowboys did against the Browns. The defense of theirs was dominant. Von Miller looks a whole lot healthier than what he looked at the end of last season. Greg Russo is showing great improvement. He is becoming an elite pass rusher. Ed Oliver is what Ed Oliver is. And, man, I got to give Coach Sean McDermott a lot of praise. I keep doubting this defense based off of the injuries and the players that they had to let go. But yet this defense is still performing at a very high level. So for them to go out there, hold the Miami Dolphins to only 10 points, because Tua did play the majority of this game. To hold them to only 10 points, man, that's a hell of a game. Hell of a game. Now, Going forward, I still do question the Buffalo Bills rushing defense. I do think that you could run on them. I think that's where a team like the New York Jets will dominate the Buffalo Bills. So I do believe that you could run on them. I can't wait to see them go against a team that's better at, I'm sorry, I won't say better, that are not as one dimensional as the Miami Dolphins in their passing attack. We all know the passing attack of the Miami Dolphins is deep crossers or very, very, very short throws. That's what they want to do. That's what they get to. So I can't wait to see them go against a guy like Aaron Rodgers, whose route concepts are going to be more complex. A team like the Arizona Cardinals that they went against in week 1 didn't really show me a lot because that's a lot of scramble drill stuff that you just got to deal with when you play against a guy like Kyler Murray. But those are my questions with them going forward. And once again, the biggest question is how far can Josh Allen take them, because that offense is only going as far as he takes them. Moving on now to the loser side, the Miami Dolphins. The one thing I will say about this game is that once again it proved my point of last week, where Devon Achane has become the second best player on this offense already. And that's the guy that they want to get involved. So I don't know how much I like that. I don't know how much I like it because I do not know how much he could withhold. I mean, he played Sunday, in which he had got the bulk of the carries for the Miami Dolphins, but then he was questionable going into this game already. That's not a good sign. And you tell me that this is going to be your running back one, your RB1, game in, game out, this is your guy. It's a little shaky to me. It's a little shaky. I do believe that he is a great piece. I do believe that he can be your second best playmaker on your offense. But I believe that there needs to be a guy that's toting that load with him. I do not want Devon Achane finishing with 29 touches in a game. He will not last. He will not stay healthy. I mean, for fantasy, of course, I love it. But if you're talking about real life football, that's not a recipe of success for a guy like Devon Achane. He needs a guy like a Gus Edwards to be alongside him. You tell me Gus Edwards is his backup running back, it changes everything. It changes everything. So we will see how long he lasts in that role. Tyreek Hill never plays very well against the Buffalo Bills, so I'm not really going to go into that. The Buffalo Bills, you guys got to remember, they've been seeing Tyreek since before he went to Miami. Back when he's playing with them KC boys, they've been seeing him. They know what to do with him, and what you do is very simple. Back the hell up. That's what you do. Jalen Waddle, he showed some life in this game, but Waddle, he will not pass that point that I need him to pass. He's like, he just doesn't get there. It's just like there's another notch that he could go, and he just cannot find a way to get there. And it's very unfortunate, man. But the most unfortunate thing is watching Tua go down with that concussion. When I watched the game, I was like, Tua, you need to slide. You need to slide. Slide. And obviously he didn't. He runs into Damar Hamlin. And then obviously he went down with a concussion. He began fencing again. That's what it's called when his muscles cramp up and his fingers are doing what side? No, I'm just playing. I should be joking, but I'm just playing. But it's a scary sight. Now I will tell you, there is a doctor that I follow on YouTube, a sports doctor, that talks about these big injuries like this. And he said just because his muscles are automatically doing that, it does not make it a worse concussion than somebody else's concussion. That's not what that means. That's just how his body responds to the concussion. Now, for me, I think Tua should retire. I truly, truly do. He's already got a signing bonus. He gets his money this year and next year guaranteed. He could walk away with about $95 million. That's not counting his rookie contract money. You already changed your family's lives for generations just off of that by itself. I think that you should retire because you have kids. And as a father myself, I could not imagine being a vegetable to my children as they grow up, let alone dying when they're young. So you have a wife that you need to care for. Your parents would not want to see you that way as well. I personally think that it's time for him to retire. I think that's a smart thing to do because once you get a concussion, it's easier to get another one and another one and another one and another one. He's definitely going to be out, in my personal opinion, at least 4 weeks. Now, those of you that do not realize or do not follow a lot of things that I follow, what I found out was that last concussion that he got in the year of 2022 against the Green Bay Packers, I believe in like week 15 or 16. It was deep in the season. This is the year that they made the playoffs when against the Buffalo Bills, and Skylar Thompson had to start that playoff game. Tua wasn't cleared for the playoff game. So he's saying that he was off for 3 weeks there. Come to find out, he was not clear for any football activity until that following spring. So we're saying after the Super Bowl, after draft season, the NFL draft, that's when he finally was cleared. So we're saying that was months before he was cleared again. So we don't know if he's even going to make it back this season. I just sincerely think that he should consider retirement. Now, also to him, I understand, man, he's busted his ass his whole life to be in this position. And I can only imagine it's a lot easier for me to say. Because I will tell y'all, back when I played football, I was willing to die on that field. You got to be willing to. That's the only way you could play. And with that being the case, I understand that he's like, I love my job. I love this game. And for those of you that believe that these players are only playing for money, this shows you no, the hell they are not. They love the game. They've been playing this game for free all their life. Money is an incentive for them. Just because they want to get the most money for their athletic powers, so what? That doesn't mean that they play for the money. They're just trying to make sure they can set their families up for generations. So with that being the case, man, I do think Tua should retire. I think that's the smart route to go. I do not blame him if he comes back because of the fact that, like, as I said, he's worked his whole life to be in this position. I understand. And plus, there's a lot more money on his contract than just $95 million. That contract had about $200 million in fully guarantees. So if he can complete the rest of it, of course, like, man, you're talking about $105 million more dollars. There's people out here right now that if I told you that this man would take you out, but your family would get $105 million, there's people out here that will say, okay. And that's the same boat that he's in. So Tua, I wish you the best. I hope that you make the decision that's best for you and your family. If you come back, I'll still support you, brother. And I will always be rooting for you. But I'm scared for you, man. I'm truly scared for you. And I want your kids to have the father that they deserve. Moving on now from that deep part of our conversation, let's go ahead and lighten up the mood and get to the games of week 2. First of all, man, we're going to go over some of the point spreads of these games. And these point spreads, we're just going to go over. I'm going to touch on the game very lightly. And that's it. Now, I will tell you guys that week 2 games are not as exciting as the week 1 games were. There's some matchups in here that I feel like is very obvious of who's going to win. But I'm going to go over these ones real quick. Then I'm going to go over the must-watch games of the week. Now, just because it's a must-watch game doesn't mean that it's one of the biggest games of the year. What it just means is this week, these are the games that I think we all should be really paying attention to. And also the game of the week. So going over just our basic games in my personal opinions, man. We got the Raiders at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are a -8 favorite. I will take that. That offense that we saw for the Raiders going against the Chargers did not play well at all. And the Ravens defense is better than them. And the Ravens offense is better than the Chargers. Take the Ravens in that if I was you guys. Looking at the next game, man, we got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Carolina Panthers. If y'all want to go to this game, it's only $20 a ticket. So, hey, if you can get down there, handle your business. But anyways, the Chargers are a -5 favorite in this game. Obviously, I will take the Chargers in this game. Moving on now to the Indianapolis Colts at the Green Bay Packers. The Colts are a -2.5 favorite. I will lean the Colts. I would not trust Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis would be lucky to throw for 100 yards in this game. And I don't see Josh Jacobs doing much because this is even less than what he dealt with at the quarterback position back when he was with the Las Vegas Raiders. And with that being said, that's pretty bad. And on top of that, you're piling on that Malik Willis has only been there for like 2 weeks. He don't know the offense. He don't know none of that stuff yet. I don't see it happening. There's a reason why the Packers did not rule out Jordan Love until very, 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 very late because they did not want to have to play this man. Moving on now to the next game, and we got the Cleveland Browns at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a -3 favorite, so pretty much it's supposed to be a dead even game. If you guys understand betting, the home team automatically gets -3 points automatically. So I would not bet on this game because the Jaguars offense, I don't know how they're going to look against against the Browns defense. But also, we don't know what the hell Deshaun Watson going to do. Actually, pause, we do. He's not that good. But the thing is, maybe they could control the game. There is something on that offense, and Deshaun Watson just has to be not terrible for them to have a real chance in this game. I would pick the Jags, though, if you wanted to bet on this game. Moving on now to our next game, man. We got the Seattle Seahawks at the New England Patriots. The Seahawks are a -3 in this game. They are the favorite. I would not touch this game betting-wise. But if you are going to bet, I probably will lean Seahawks. But I think the Patriots have a real shot of winning this football game, especially with Kenny Walker being out for the Seattle Seahawks. Moving on now to our next game, man. We got the New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. The Giants are a -1.5, I believe, in this game. I may have that backwards, so please double check that. This one's tricky for me. The Commanders' defense is trash. The Giants' defensive line is tough. Jaden Daniels will either play very, very well in this game or play okay in this game like how he did last week. But the issue is this is a game that Daniel Jones could play okay in. He could play okay against this team. I think I still will go with the Commanders to win this game because it's in Washington. But this is the game I would stay away from. Moving on now to our next game, man. We got the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. And the Cardinals are a -1 favorite, which means that they really think the Rams are the better football team. And I do as well. I will take the Rams in this game. Even though Puka Nacua is out, and I know the offensive tackle is out, maybe possibly out as well, but I think the Rams will be able to control their line of scrimmage against the Cardinals. And you got to remember, man, the Rams see Kyler Murray all the time. They're used to all his scrambling tactics. This ain't Buffalo. Buffalo don't see that all the time. They see it twice a year. So with that being the case, I'm going Los Angeles Rams because also I do not believe that the Cardinals secondary is good enough to compete with Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp. And the final of these games, these type of games I want to talk about is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Denver Broncos. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a -2.5 favorite. I would take that. I think the Steelers will win by more than 2.5. The defense, I think, will be lights out against the Denver Broncos. As we saw, the Denver Broncos traveling to Seattle, they had a hard time moving the ball there. They got 2 safeties in that game. So if you take away those 2 safeties, that never happens in games. You talking about they really lost that game 16-26. So with that being the case, man, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and also I imagine them opening up the offense a little bit more for Justin Fields. But Justin Fields is a starter in this game if you did not know. Now, to our must-watch games of the week. And our must-watch game, sorry you guys, if you guys see me a little distracted, my dog's at my ankles, and I don't know what she needs, but she's at my ankles. So for our must-watch games, man, we got the New York Jets at the Tennessee Titans. I know a lot of you guys are saying, how is this a must-watch game? It's a must-watch game because this is a game that the Jets could lose. Now, the Jets are favored in this game, -3.5. But this is a game that they surely can lose. You got L'Jarius Sneed that it will be shadowing Garrett Wilson. This is a 2-time Super Bowl champion defensive back, L'Jarius Sneed. We know what he is. He's a dog. There's a reason why he got paid. You got Jeffrey Simmons leading the front. That is a guy that could slow down Breece Hall as well. They are strictly depending on the defense of the Jets to step up and stop that Titans offense, which they should. The Jets should be the favorite. I'm telling you guys, it would not shock me if Tennessee won this game, because you also got to consider the Jets coming on a short week. They played Monday night, and they had to fly. They flew to Cali, from Cali to New York, from New York to Tennessee. They've been traveling their ass off. So with that being the case, this is a game that the New York Jets could lose. But I will put the Jets to win this game. I think Aaron Rodgers bounces back. I think they find more creative ways to get Garrett Wilson involved. And I think Breece Hall will have a solid day. Moving on now to our next must-watch game. We got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to Arrowhead. I refuse to call it what y'all Cincy fans call it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear, oh, we 1-3 against Billy. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. We 1-1. I've told y'all 1,000 times. When it comes down to y'all playing against that dude, 1-5, I don't care about no regular season game. Holla at me with the playoffs, in which we're 1-1 in. 1-1, but in this game, the Chiefs are favored to win by 6 points, which means obviously the Chiefs need to win by 7 for you to win your money. That's a big point spread. It really is a big point spread, especially for NFL standards. I think the Chiefs will cover. I do think they'll cover. The defense of the Chiefs is actually a lot similar to the defense of the New England Patriots, and we saw what the Patriots did without Joe Mixon there. That offensive line being just as trash as they always are for Cincy, and then you're saying no T. Higgins as well. I don't think Cincy really has a shot. I think Cincy will look better this week than what they did last week, but I do not think this is a game that the Cincinnati Bengals can win. So with that being the case, I'm going to Kansas City Chiefs winning this game. Moving on now to our next must-watch game, we got the Chicago Bears at the Houston Texans. This is our Sunday night football game this week. Caleb Williams against C.J. Stroud, the hopeful rookie of the year against the former rookie of the year. Obviously, man, we're going with the Houston Texans. We saw in that last game with the Bears, they did not play very well at all. That offense was garbage against the Tennessee Titans. And then I'm also going to revert you guys back to the Cincinnati preseason game when that offense was garbage in that game too. They ended up scoring a touchdown on third stringers. Their first string against their third string. So the last 2-3 times that we saw this team out there on the field, they did not perform well. So we need to stop lying to ourselves what this offense is. And now you're telling me that Roma Dunze is out and that there's a good chance that Keenan Allen is at minimum going to be really banged up going into this week. I can't trust the Bears. I'm going with the Houston Texans winning this game. The Bears defense will stay strong, but the Houston Texans will win this football game. Moving on now to our Monday night game. We got the ATL Falcons against the Philadelphia Eagles with a -6 point spread for the Eagles. I think the point spread is a little too high. I do. I think that people are too wrapped up in what happened in the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons game. The Eagles do not have a TJ Watt. You guys have to realize that TJ Watt is a special somebody. And he completely wrecked that game. And that's what allowed the Pittsburgh Steelers to win off of nothing but field goals. Now, what I will say is obviously there's more of a balance with the Eagles. The Eagles have a far better offense than what the Pittsburgh Steelers have. So with that being the case, I do see the Eagles scoring points. And there are weak spots that the Eagles can exploit of the Atlanta Falcons. As I said, A.J. Terrell, he has shown to struggle with big receivers that know how to get deep. And A.J. Brown knows how to do that. I also think Devontae Smith will have a good day in this game. I think Saquon takes a little step back, mainly because of the fact that, bro, you're not going to score 3 touchdowns every week. So I can see him getting 100 and a touchdown in this game. This game's going to come down to Jalen Hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles. Does he take care of the football? That's it. For the Atlanta Falcons, I've heard that they are getting that this week in practice that they got Kirk Cousins more under center. Kirk Cousins is saying that he is actually fully healthy. We will find out in this game. I think they need to get back to what their offense is supposed to be. This offense that they're supposed to be running is supposed to be a lot of under center. Get Kirk Cousins back into play action game. You need to find a way to get Drake London involved, and obviously you need to keep Kyle Pitts involved. But the most important guy that y'all need to find a way to give him space. Give Bijan the ball and give him space. We saw what happened with Saquon Barkley. It's a perfect example. Last year with the New York Giants, Saquon, you're like, oh, he's okay. He's an okay running back. He's solid. He's talented, but how good is he really? But then when you put him on an offense like the Eagles, who have an offensive line and know how to space the field and give him lanes, now you're like, oh my God, he might be the next Christian McCaffrey. That's the same thing for Bijan Robinson, in my personal opinion. The same boat. Create space, give him lanes, and let him control the game. He's the best player in your offense. Get him the ability to make plays. Now, moving on to our final game, the game of the week. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are a -7.5 favorite. I would not bet on this game. I would not bet on this game at all. I think that people are really underestimating how good Baker Mayfield is. The strength of the Buccaneers offense is their passing attack. The weakness of their offense is their run game. I would say the strength of the Lions defense is stopping the run. So if the Buccaneers already can't run, your strength doesn't really do a whole lot to change the game for the Buccaneers. But your weak spot of your defense is your DBs. Now, I will say that your DBs played, I felt like, okay against the Rams last week. I mean, Matt Stafford threw the ball 49 times, so he's going to hit over 300 yards. But Baker Mayfield ain't going to throw the ball 49 times. But Mike Evans can have a day on this defense. Chris Godwin looks good. He looked good last week. So with that being the case, man, I'm excited to watch this game. I think the Lions do win this game, but I don't like it by the points. If I will be betting on this game, I'll be betting on the money line of the Detroit Lions winning this football game. I think they can control the line of scrimmage as they always do offensively, and I think Amon-Ra St. Brown will keep the chains moving. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs, he will bust out a couple good runs after David Montgomery weakened the defense a little bit with power blows. I just think the Lions have too much, and that's why the Buccaneers will lose. But this game will be a lot better than what you guys think. Unfortunately, us living in Ohio, it ain't going to get seen like that because we got the, I think, Browns on the CBS game, and then the Fox game is the Cowboys in New Orleans. Also, speaking of them, I'm sorry, I did not realize I did not mention them. I do not have the point spread of their game. I think it's -6.5 Cowboys. I would not take that. This game could be close, but I do got the Cowboys winning. I think that this is going to be a reality check week for the New Orleans Saints. Man, they had a bye week last week, bro. They played against Appalachian State last week. Hate to call the Carolina Panthers that, but hey, y'all give me a reason not to call you that, then I won't. The Dallas Cowboys, they did play against a good defense. Period. They played against a good defense. They found a way to dominate. They found a way to run their offense. I think the same thing happens here. I think Marshawn Lattimore is out as well. So CeeDee Lamb won't even be shadowed by their best corner. So with that being the case, I'm going Dallas Cowboys to win this game. And I wouldn't be shocked if Derek Carr throws a couple of interceptions to close out this football game for the Dallas Cowboys. The final segment of this episode, our betting segment. Time to make that money. Hey, man, so I'm going to give y'all two different types of bets. And obviously, you guys can pick and choose what you want to do. But I am going to give you guys player props and game bets. So my player props, that's what we're going to go over first, man. First thing I'm going to bet on are anytime touchdowns. And I got Derrick Henry scoring an anytime touchdown against the obvious Las Vegas Raiders. I think this is going to be a game, bro, where they give Henry the ball a lot. He didn't get the ball as much as I feel like they would have liked him to last week. They fell behind. They had to put the ball in Lamar's hand, so they could not ball control whatsoever. So I think this week they're going to get the ball a lot to Derrick Henry and let Derrick Henry feel more included in the offense. Bring him alive. Bring life into him because they're going to need him as the year goes on. So you got to start building his confidence and let him learn his offensive line. And more importantly, you need to learn how to use him. So I got an anytime touchdown for Derrick Henry in this week. Next one, I got an anytime touchdown for Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, man, he's a big quarterback. He handles the goal line like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts do. So with that being the case, man, and him going against the Green Bay Packers, I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities to score points. I see him having a pretty big day against the Green Bay Packers with Malik Willis in the game, and I got him scoring a touchdown anytime. Now, a passing touchdown does not count as an anytime touchdown. It has to be rushing or receiving. I got him getting a rushing touchdown in this football game. I'm also taking Anthony Richardson on the over of 39.5 rushing yards. We saw him get, I think he got about, 56 last week. And I think he's going to have a couple big runs in this game against the Green Bay Packers as well. He relies on his legs just as much as his arm. So with that being the case, he will run the ball a lot. So I got him easily clearing 39.5 yards. The final player prop I'm going to give you guys is Cooper Kupp. I got Cooper Kupp catching over 7.5 receptions. 7.5 receptions for Cooper Kupp, man, that's cake work. That's cake work, bro. We talking about a man that got 21 targets last week and caught 14 balls against the Detroit Lions. I do not necessarily see them blowing out the Arizona Cardinals, so I do see them utilizing the pass a lot. And you tell me that there's no Puka Nacua? Yes, he's going to catch at least 8 balls in this game. I think that's an easy one. That's a gimme. Recap our player props. I got Derrick Henry scoring a touchdown, Anthony Richardson scoring a rushing touchdown, Anthony Richardson over 39.5 rushing yards, and Cooper Kupp catching over 7.5 receptions. Now moving on to our games. For those of you that like betting on the games instead of player props, I got the Colts. I'm picking the Colts winning by 2.5 or more, by more than 2.5, meaning they just got to win by a field goal. When Malik Willis playing quarterback, I'm dead serious. You guys want to say this? I'll be shocked if them boys score over 10 points. And I got the Colts scoring at least 17. So with that being the case, I'm going to Indianapolis Colts, and I'm taking the spread for them to beat the Green Bay Packers. Moving on to the next bet that I'm going to place in the games, I'm going to go ahead and take that Baltimore minus 8.5. That is a humongous number in the NFL. Humongous number. I know, and trust me, you guys, I understand. But what I saw from that Las Vegas offense last week, was putrid. The Ravens defense is better than the Los Angeles Chargers defense. And the fact that they let J.K. Dobbins, I love J.K. I really do. I'm a big fan of his. The fact that they let him go for like a $130 something on him, $140, whatever it was, in a tutty. And you tell me now I'm going to have Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Justin Hill, and all these boys coming? Yes, bro, they're going to dominate this game. This game will not be close. I will be shocked if Baltimore wins by less than, honestly, like 17 in this game. I see this game being a blowout. So I'm going Baltimore Ravens with the minus 8.5. The next game, I'm taking every game against the Panthers. So I'm taking the Los Angeles Chargers at minus 4.5 against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina looked like the worst team in the NFL last year. They was absolutely pathetic. Jim Harbaugh is going to go out there, run the ball down their throat. They won't be able to stop it because they don't even have Derrick Brown. And then to top it off, you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa coming off the side with Derwin James in the backfield. In the back, in the safety area. And then I got Asante Samuel Jr. Defending your best wide receiver, Bryce Young. He ain't doing nothing, bro. They'd be lucky to score 10 points in this game. Go with the Los Angeles Chargers. And our final game that we're going to talk about for the bets, man, I'm going to take the Houston Texans on the money line. 6.5 points seems a little strong to me. I do think that they will win by that, but I'm playing it safe here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the money line for the Houston Texans. I think the Bears offense will struggle. I think the Houston Texans will find a way to put up about at least 24 points. So with that being the case, man, we're going Houston Texans, closing out our betting segment. So, hey, you guys, that's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Get your bets in. Watch these games today. Hey, man, this is Knowing True Ball with your host, Brian Payne. Keep up with Knowing True Ball on Twitter, X, just talking about the games throughout the day. So, with that being the case, man, follow me on that. Talk to your boy, Knowing True Ball with your host, Brian Payne. Peace.